Good morning, good morning, good morning. Good morning, everybody. Happy Monday. Happy Monday.
Good morning. Another week. Last trade week before the Christmas week.
Yeah, I wanted to talk about that. I think it's going to be, I think the next 2-3 weeks of trading potentially could be tricky. Morning Wizard. We have Christmas next week. Obviously, this is the week leading into Christmas. Potentially a little bit of slower action. Plus, we have more CPI data inflation data on Wednesday. I saw this morning that the Fed and Jerome Powell there's a 95% expectation of them cutting rates another quarter basis point.
Mm-hmm.
So we'll see how that ends up playing out. So that's this week. So there's lots of restricted news. If you saw, I think almost every day this week there's some type of news that's going on. And then we have Christmas next week, and then New Year's in the middle of the following week. So I think it's going to be tricky, slower action. Also, someone who trades futures, the futures contracts, they roll every quarter. So every 4 times a year, every 3 months, the futures contract roll to a different contract. And when it did that this time, the prices, I don't have any price levels on these new ones. So we're trading at like all-time highs on the futures contracts, and I have no previous data to kind of mark my levels from. So makes it a little bit tricky for me in all aspects. I actually tried a gold long, which was working out for me here.
Yeah.
Pre-market, I added into it, and it looks like it might fail on me now. But yeah, how was everybody's weekend? Merry Christmas. How was your weekend, Brian?
It was good. It went by fast, I will admit. I think that's because you go do a little bit of Christmas shopping. We try to do not all of it online shopping. Just to get out of the house, and that's a kind of a good excuse to kind of just go mess around. But at the end, it went by fast, I thought. But I also spent 50% of my weekend was spent studying my charts.
Oh, nice. You had a little bit of a productive weekend. Were you
Yeah.
Were you just reviewing trades, or were you back testing, or what were you doing on the charts?
On the weekends, I usually go back and look at my journaling that I do on my charts, because I do a lot of on-chart journaling. I'll go back and look, because that way the journal is kind of arrowed, pointed at the area of trade or the area of stop loss or the area of mistake or failure.
Yeah.
I'm usually going back and analyzing, could my stop loss have been tighter? Should it have been looser? So yeah, in a way, back testing, but not back testing a new strategy, still the same strategies I use, but I will go through it with a fine-tooth comb, man. I will go back and look at Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday areas of concern. So during the week, while I'm actively trading, I am marking on one of my charts areas to return to later. Yeah. And I get very engulfed in that kind of thing, man. I'll spend usually 2 to 4 hours on Saturday at some point, and 2 to 4 hours on Sunday, reanalyzing things. And this doesn't take away from my day. It's sometimes when the family goes to bed, that's a good time to do it.
Yeah, I agree. Yeah.
But I also trade a lot of London. So being here in the central time zone of the United States, I trade a lot between 2 a.m. and my 2 a.m. to 11 a.m. I've been up since my 2 a.m. So whatever that is now.
Yeah.
Well,
I do that sometimes. But I have to watch sometimes when I do that, because I'll end up like trading London and then like sticking around into New York, and then like letting myself become sleep deprived. The gold trade I was in, I had a level here. I have one other level I'm gonna mark up.
So far, I've done about 2 or 3 buys. think I would remember. I got so many windows open, and I'm currently in a short on gold. So it sounds like I'm opposite you at the moment, right? Because you're
Yeah.
going
So
long.
I might be aiming a little bit too large here, but I'm trying to show you. I'm trying to get my levels marked here, kind of to show. So these are the two levels that I had that I was kind of watching based off of the gold futures chart. And so last night before I went to bed, we've got this push down, and then we had this strong bounce, and then we were in this consolidation range. So I took a long kind of playing a breakout, seeing if we could go tag this upper level, which we did. But I took this trade and like went to sleep last night, and I had my stop below. Originally, I think I was kind of down here, and then I adjusted it once we got a little bit of a move under this low. And then when I woke up and we were in kind of up at these upper levels, I moved the stop on the original entry into profits. And then we were consolidating. We bounced off this level, so I took a second entry on this trade. And if you look at the reason I entered this trade was for a couple of reasons. I liked the hourly bounce that we had. So if you look at the daily chart has gotten a kind of double chop rejection, 2-bar pullback. And this just looked like a place to me that the daily chart could potentially hold after we got this big pullback, kind of a strong move that held and gave us a higher low, and then kind of consolidated we had this, I think we talked about this with Kyron maybe last week. We had this 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9 days of consolidation before we got a nice breakout, which kind of indicates to me that the daily chart maybe wants to hold and reverse back into an uptrend, making these higher lows, and then we did give ourselves a higher high here, but kind of like a double top. And so just looking at the daily chart, this looked like a place to me that could potentially hold. And then when I saw the hourly put in, so this was last night when I was kind of doing some Sunday evening charting. The hourly had put in this strong kind of bounce here, and we were getting this consolidation. So I put on my first long position here. You can see I might take profit here. So I was aiming for this hourly swing high if we could hold this level. But as of right now, we're kind of failing that level. I have my stops on the original position in small profits, and I have my stop on the entry at the exact same spot. So if I end up getting stopped here, I think it'll, all in all, it might be like $100 loss or something like that. So I don't have a ton of risk on, but I'm gonna give it its stop. See if we can maintain above this level here and start to rally back up. We'll see what happens, but.
And we have flash PMI in about 20 minutes.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Minutes.
That's right. Yeah. This is a swing account I'm on, so I'm gonna.
Oh, okay. I'm playing with my.
Actually, on the futures chart, it looks like we maybe just tagged the level. They're always a little off, so it makes it tick below.
Yeah.
I'm always like trying to line them up, but they're never like the futures chart. I got the levels more like right there. You said, are you sharing your screen? You said you took a couple trades today. If you wanna show them.
I did. I'm still in
What's up,
that short.
Walter, Salvador? How's it going, gang? How's it going, gang?
It's so close to hitting my break even at the moment. So I was staring at this thing thinking, well, what are you going to do? Maybe I can I'll share the screen before I lose the trade. It's a profit, man. It's barely profitable. It's before a news event, so I usually go in at lower risk.
Yeah, that's smart. Are you on a swing account or are you on a fast track or what?
On this one today, I'm using a two-phase 100K. which is my newfound favorite. I like two-phase. I've learned. I'll explain that in a second. Let me figure out which window here this is. Must be this one here.
Eslam, I like the desktop version, the download, I think, a little bit more. They're both good, but I think I prefer the desktop one. The charts just show up a little bit cleaner to me, almost a little bit higher, like higher definition. But yeah, I like the desktop, but they both work good. They work, real similar.
I'm thinking I might add to this now.
Yeah. Brian and I, we got a little trade battle going on. I like it.
We do. Is that your screen or mine? That's yours.
Yeah.
I'm looking at our live stream, and I'm like, don't ever trade from the live stream.
Yeah, I know, for sure.
Wrong screen, wrong guy. I should have added more. Darn it. It just took a huge red candle. Are we on mine now? Yeah. This is kind of, I guess, the way I see it more is, yeah.
You're on the 1 minute there?
That is the 1 minute because I'm watching. Okay. Again, I keep saying this. I think for the last 3 weeks, this 4-hour key level and this weekly key level that I have drawn out a long time ago keeps being a magnet for these things. So I am.
Is that blue line your key level? Okay. So that's
I'm shorting it, knowing it's going to go hit this week.
My level is too. Yeah.
Yeah.
Market open, by the way, ladies and gentlemen. Initial push down on gold.
So I think.
Yeah, I'm basically looking for this area to hold.
You're looking for it to hold. Okay.
Yeah.
I say it's been holding.
It's time to break. It's
been bouncing around through there. I mean, I'm looking at an example just earlier this morning.
Brian, Walter asked who your mentor is, your trading mentor.
It was Ishmael Davids. He was, I think, the first AMA interview at FunderPro.
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Back in May 2nd.
And a lot of payouts, I know.
Yeah, anybody listening want to reach out to him, look for him on Discord. Tell him I sent you. Tell him Brian sent you. He might educate you for free or very, very discounted. I think he charges nowadays. But Ishmael Davids, yeah. And you can always go back to watch a previous AMA on the FunderPro channel on YouTube. No, is it out there? I don't know. Might be.
I'm sure it is. Yeah, I'm sure it is.
Okay. Yeah. Ishmael uses a lot of Lambo Raoul's techniques. He studied under him. That was his mentor. So a lot of supply and demand, key level drawing, huge moves. I don't do as much of that. I use that logic to inform me of where power moves will uncover, and smaller time frames, which I'll discuss later in this stream, how I draw out those key levels. And in short, I some key levels take profit areas, and some are execution areas. So anyhow, what I was saying there was I'm doing a small short that this thing goes into that weekly key level just for like a 20 to 40 pip gain.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm backing up here. That's why I have it on the 1 minute chart. I think I digressed there a few times to your comment, but that's why I'm on the 1 minute right now.
Yeah, no, yeah, I got you.
Yeah.
Not in your prison jumpsuit today. Were you rocking a prison jumpsuit, Brian?
No, it's just a shirt with large collar.
Were you rocking an orange shirt last week?
Oh, so you're not in your prison jumpsuit. I was rocking a red shirt with Kyron.
Okay, maybe that was it. The red.
Is it the red is the new
Red is the new black. Is it red? Wasn't that a Netflix show? Orange is the new black.
Yeah.
So interesting action in the markets. I'm gonna throw my screen up here real quick, Brian. So if we look at this, there's something I've been talking about is the NAS US 30 divergence. NAS continuing its strength, US 30 continuing its weakness. So that divergence has continued to remain. I got a stinking flying around my office on me, driving me nuts right now. So that divergence, which has been interesting to watch, and if you kind of look at this and ask yourselves maybe why, if you look at the actual stock market, some of the biggest tech names in the industry all hit new all-time highs yesterday or last week. We had Tesla, Meta, Amazon, Google. I think they all hit new all-time highs last week. So the Nasdaq was the strongest index last week for sure, and it makes sense with a lot of those big tech names all at all-time highs. So I would love to long take some NAS longs at some point. I just don't have my level system in play here. So I'm going to be patient on NAS and the indexes early in the week. I'd like to get some data on them, today and tomorrow, which then maybe will lead to a nice trade later in the week on the indexes. Bitcoin also hit new all-time highs last night, I believe.
Oh, really?
Yeah, 106,000, I think it hit. Yep.
Gosh.
Yeah, something crazy. 106, 104,000 maybe. We got drones flying over New Jersey in other news. There's all kinds of stuff going on in the market and in the world right now. So it's a wild time to be alive. Seen people on social media talking about fart coin. Anybody getting in some fart coin?
I heard of that. You just making things up now?
These meme coins are crazy, man. These meme coins are crazy. I haven't really dabbled, but
Walter asking about my FunderPro certificate on the wall. I'm not gonna actually get up to remove it, but yes, that's
guys, he's in his underwear. He can't get out.
No, I'm not. I am not in underwear. Well, I'm comfortably pushed up to my chair, and I'm between break even and stop loss right now. I'm not getting up. No, to be honest, this is one of those moments in trading where I'm I do my stop losses. I most often do them as a safety stop loss. So if price starts approaching me in a certain candlestick pattern or a certain, say, a strong candle pattern, then I will manually stop out. I'm a very big manual stop out person, and I only set them on the chart as a safety in case I blink, pass out.
Yeah, so you essentially give your stop more room than you necessarily want it to be.
Yeah.
But your size small enough that like you're still protected either way. But
yeah,
like,
so that once it moves back
in your favor, you're quick to just be like, nope, I'm out.
Right, exactly.
Which I get that. I do that occasionally.
I like to give it a little bit of judgment when it hits an area of, okay, this would be my real stop loss right now. It's in an area, but I want to see this previous candle get a little bit engulfed, and then I'll say, okay, it didn't get engulfed, and then I'll put my hand back off the computer, not to execute the stop loss, and 9 out of 10 times it goes back in my favor. So, but hey, I do the safety stop loss, and I recommend it because I have been burned several times with real money in the thousands, because of just some weird liquidity grab that goes so fast. And everybody needs to recall that's broker to broker. You could be on another broker on the same instrument and not get such a strong wick. I think on the stream team, Samuel was having to deal with that last week remember that there was a strong wick on one of these things. I think it was gold. It got some people out on depending on what broker you had.
Somebody said, Vitka said, FunderPro, how to check news, which I can't trade on a funded account. I just posted a link for the FunderPro Discord. That's probably the best place to like stay active and the best place to stay active and up to date with the news. It's always posted there. You can also find it on like the social media accounts, the FunderPro Instagram account and the X account and all that stuff. But just the Discord as a whole is a great resource for any FunderPro traders. So the link is in the chat for the Discord. I think the link for the Discord is also in the bio of the live stream. So check out the Discord there. They'll update that I think every Sunday in Discord with the news. So just keep an eye on that. There's Walter asks us how long we've been trading. I have been trading almost 3 years exactly. I think Brian maybe a little bit longer. I think Brian's actually been almost 10 years, I think, right, Brian? But you maybe you had a little break in between or something.
Mine would add up to about 8 to 10, but it was spread out, not in a row. So
I was liking that 5 minute there for a minute there, Brian, but that's a pretty good shaved double top 5 minute for a bearish case.
See this thing? If you flash over to my screen, this is going to go. I still think it's. I'm watching the clock too because we got to. I think it's. Is it 8? Is it on the 45?
It's 9:40, so it'd be I think what 8:40 your time.
Yeah. So the flash PMI is in 5 minutes.
5 minutes.
Yeah. So I'm watching the clock and watching these candles. I'm gonna. And this is such a small trade, 0.25 lots. I mean, this is usually. Well, this is about right at this point. This is where I usually, this is the amount I would carry until I think the trend is literally reversed. So sometimes I'll carry this little bitty amount just to milk it because it's about, it's the principle of the matter. I like to be in a little bit of the trade until I think, okay, I'm going to go the reverse now and switch it.
Yeah.
But a lot of times I show greed at the end of my take profit, and I just get out because I'm just like, okay, that amount of money is good enough. I want it. Take it off the table. I'm gonna go ahead and I really want this thing to hit my key level before PMI.
NAS really strong. Still pushing the new highs. YM has stayed pretty muted. It's right around its opening print.
I'm exiting because I had to be out 2 minutes before, so I'm gonna go ahead and get out. So
give me a good reaction to the news.
If you got any action happening on your chart, you can switch it back. I'm out of my trade now.
Yeah.
Yeah, you have a swing account, you said, right? So we get to
watch. I'm gonna hold through. We'll see.
Yeah, we get to watch the show.
yeah. Get to watch me eat a stop.
3 minutes and 3 minutes flash. That's gonna happen.
You know what? We'll see what happens here. The last, it's not looking great leading up to it. That's for sure. I don't even know if I'll make it there. The last down $50.
Oh, there it goes, right through my key level.
Yeah, I hope I'm out. The last few news events, I think gold has been pretty muted, but we were in that like 9 days of consolidation.
Maybe I need a swing account, man.
Yeah, I know.
Walter, no, 10 years and still on demo? No, I would recommend you always are trying for demo accounts as your backup accounts. Remember, FunderPro, for example, will keep any challenges you pass. They can go on file. You lose your live funded account, you can just flip a new one on. I'm usually and I don't know about Tyler. I think Tyler, you too. I trade on several accounts. They're not all, this firm. So when we're here streaming, we we think it's kosher to be showing our FunderPro trading, and one of those is a demo account that I'm trying to work on as a backup account.
Yeah, exactly like Brian said. So I've been taking a 25K FunderPro challenge. So I've been trading that on the stream. I trade personal cash funds with options, and then I'm also funded with some futures firms. Looking forward to FunderPro Futures launching here soon. Futures is actually like my preferred instrument to trade. Which, by the way, if you're interested in trading futures with FunderPro, you can go to funderprofutures.com and sign up for the wait list, which should be launching very soon here. Kieran asked, News Trading Loud, you're allowed to hold through the news with the swing trade accounts that FunderPro offers. So they offer, 3 different account types. And the swing trade account is one of them that allows you to hold through news and through the weekends. I don't think you can actively place trades 2 minutes before or 2 minutes after. And I think the reason being is they're trying to avoid, I don't know if you guys have ever seen like news bracket trading, but it's basically where you put a stop order above the current price and a stop order below the current price when there's news is coming out, expecting a big spike, and then trying to just capitalize with a real quick scalp. So, but they consider that to be gambling, so they try to keep that. So, that is the intention behind the rules there. Well, there's the news, and I got stopped on that spike down. Looks like it's going to spike down and hold, and maybe hold. We'll see. If we do get back up above this level, I'm not opposed to a re-entry on gold.
Yeah, definitely. Let this shake out over the next 5 to 30 minutes. When my entry point reveals itself, I will go back in. I've been having more fun trading lately. In the past 4 weeks, I've been practicing more of a reverse my position type of movements. Like, trading till the trend is over, then reverse your trade. Been practicing that. It's been working good. It's been working good. I like it. You know how they say trade your personality?
Yeah.
That, for some dumb reason, I've been realizing that's something that interests me. I noticed that I focus a lot on, should have stayed in the trade longer. Why didn't I stay in it longer? The trend is still going. That's earlier I said I leave a little part in there now, a little piece of my position, just to go ahead and practice my psychology of letting something ride to the end. But I do believe in partialing out your profits as you go on that trend, so that then you have a certain amount that I don't like to partial down when it's coming down. I just like to get out when the trend's over, but I don't want to be, heavy in my position at that point, because then you didn't take a lot off the table at that point. So
yeah.
But I've been there's a buddy of mine, very successful trader. Maybe we'll have him on here one day as a guest.
Who is he on social media or anything, or is he just a private guy?
No social media for trading. But he is he does exactly what I just described, and he does it, I'd say, perfection. It's amazing.
Yeah.
Very successful day trader, very much someone I look up to. Yeah, interested to have him on one day as a guest, maybe.
Nice. What does he like to trade? Is he a gold trader as well?
He's a gold trader. Yeah, he'll dabble in Bitcoin like you.
Yeah.
Yeah. But no futures, no NAS, mainly gold. Yeah, mainly gold.
I'm actually looking at potentially a YM futures trade, although my charts are just moving so slow.
Okay. And I'm stuck on gold.
I tried another gold long, by the way.
Wow. See, I was almost gonna say I'm actually looking to see if this is gonna go short again.
Hey, well, you're 1-0 on me right now, man. You're 1-0 on me right now. I tried a YM long on YM long on futures, which would be a US 30 long if you're trading forex. I just want to see if this level can hold. We got that spike underneath and then some buying back up above. So see if we can kind of just reverse the news spike and go test the highs on the day. It could fail. We'll see. We'll see. By the way, I don't often trade gold. I just I think like I mentioned earlier, I think the indexes are in a tough spot for me in my system right now. So I'm just kind of playing the instrument where I have levels in play. I also, if you weren't on the stream earlier, I talked about how I think the daily chart could be potentially, the daily chart had been in this extremely strong uptrend. We saw that trend kind of flip with a nice, I mean, this is honestly a pretty healthy pullback on gold. With how strong the trend had been, which then we saw this strong rally. This day, I think might have been, there was some news with China and them finding some new gold reserves, which then led to 9 days of consolidation and a good breakout. But kind of making these higher lows here, I think the daily trend could potentially be trying to flip and head back towards all-time highs. So from a higher time frame standpoint, that's what I'm looking at. And then from a smaller time frame standpoint, I'm just looking at my hourly levels potentially holding here. I really like that 5-minute close after the news. I think that's great. See if it can hold. Surely as pioneers for FunderPro, and that being on live TV.
Yeah, Salvador. I'll after the holiday, I've been thinking about that too. After the holidays, could trade on a live account. I've been more. This is totally honest and transparent here. I am less prone to want to trade live when also talking various topics.
Yeah, less focused.
Yeah, it's different. Definitely a different mindset, demo and versus live funding. But
Yeah.
I do agree with you. And I'll show some of that after the holidays. I think I want to. We're all kind of adapting to some of this live stream focus.
Yeah, Salvador, so like, to be totally honest with you, I don't have a live funded account with FunderPro right now. I've had two FunderPro funded
Yeah,
accounts.
you had a couple, yeah.
Yeah, and I've gotten payouts. I don't even know if I have them saved somewhere. If I have them saved somewhere, I can show. And you can see Brian's certificate back there. I can confirm. I know Brian's gotten payouts as well. But yeah, I mean, I'm not. I would say that I've gotten into. Thank you, Walter. Thank you. I would say, I've been at this for 3 years. I would say really the last kind of 6 months have been. I've had stretches of a lot of success, and then I think like a lot of people when trading, at first you struggle, you start to improve, get to a point where you'll have these streaks of like doing really well, and then you'll have a day or two that's bad where you give back a lot of that progress. I went through that for a long time, and kind of over the last probably 4 to 6 months, I've kind of hit a really pretty solid stride. So I'm not claiming to be. I think in order to really be a profitable trader long term, you have to be profitable for a year, 2 years. You gotta if you're able to just go a small period of time with being profitable, then you can't get back there or can't keep that up for like over a long period of time. That's really the goal. So I by no means am claiming to be a perfect, amazing professional trader. I would say I'm still on that journey. I'm making money right now, but every day, a lot of people think that that like being a profitable trader is something that's like, oh, you reach this point and bam, you're a profitable trader, which I disagree with. I think that being a profitable trader is quite literally an everyday battle. Because any given day you can tilt, you can blow up, you can blow your accounts, you can lose months worth of wins, right? So like to just think that, okay, once I get there, I'm there and the work is done and it's over, is not the way to look at trading. Being a profitable trader is an ongoing daily battle for the rest of your trading career. Because I'm sure you become more disciplined, you become more accustomed to the emotional swings, you become hardened and to the emotions, the losses maybe don't affect you as much. You'll improve in all of those ways, but it doesn't mean that it's not a daily battle every day when you wake up and open the charts, not to do dumb shit. And that's really the key. If you can stay alive and stay in the game, the good market opportunities, the trends will come, and things where good trading opportunities are there. But a lot of times it's about staying in the game with a level head. So I appreciate that, Walter. I appreciate it.
And certainly,
Salvador, I agree with you as well. I agree with you.
When you no longer go to the 9 to 5 and you're trading all day, if I still had a 9 to 5, there'd be no way I could wake up at my 2 a.m. and trade the London Open.
Yeah.
That's I didn't start doing that until I dabbled in it last year. Once I found FunderPro, I started doing it a little bit more, but definitely trying to adapt my hours better. But I haven't been in the 9 to 5 now for quite some time, about a year.
Yeah, that's awesome.
But that's kind of the beauty of trading. You can choose your own hours. And I'm looking at gold. It's hovering around one of my key levels, that weekly key level, and it's gonna break away. I don't know if I would even trust it to break south.
Yeah, I mean,
are you long actually? What is your position right now?
Yeah, I am. I mean,
You're long? Okay.
That hourly, if this hourly doesn't put in, I was hoping to see this hourly to put in a wick, and we need to see some buying here in the next 4 minutes.
Yeah.
I would love if this gave us a close above the level with kind of a bottom wick, sort of a little bit of a failure to go lower. But we'll see.
Yeah.
We'll see. It doesn't look great right now, but we'll see. My risk is managed, so all right. On this challenge account that I'm on, I've been up 1,000, down 1,000, up 1,000, down 1,000. I think like 4 or 5 times.
On the
I just
24?
can't, I just can't put together. I would say that's probably the one I think negative to trading multiple accounts and different things is if sometimes I'll go on a good streak with futures trading, and then I'm then trying to kind of force opportunities on the Forex account that I didn't take because I was watching futures when the setup was there, right? So then maybe I'm taking not as good of a setup here, whatever it may be. Sometimes it's just difficult to trade really well on all of the accounts across because it's just hard to focus on on them all. But so yeah.
Yeah, definitely. On my private account, it's not a swing account. It's not a funded, it's my money. And
Yeah.
I still get out because of the news. I will still get
Mhm.
out, you know. Um, Before FunderPro, I would hold a lot during news. Um, their rule kind of made me take a step back and focus a little bit better on that. I used to take a lot of losses during the news, and I have since just given up completely. That it's not my style to. So, I may never have a swing account. Even on my live account, that my personal account that has no rules and restrictions, I restrict the heck out of me. You know, I won't even use it. I won't even trade New York with it. That's why I like to trade London. It's a bit more calmer.
Tyler, last week you mentioned orb strategy. What time it should be used for New York Open? Should be 8 a.m. It should be New York Open and Forex Factory, or should be 9:30 a.m. in stock market. So this is a question from Hadel. So the London orb strategy that I call it the London orb strategy. So you could call it the orb double break. But I actually use the London trading session. So I use the London orb, and which is 3 a.m. to 4 or 3 a.m. to 3:15 a.m. would be that London 15-minute orb for me. Now I'm in Eastern Standard Time in the United States, and so I don't know how that time aligns for you, but so like 9:30 a.m. is New York Open for me. So I use the 3 a.m. and I'm not always awake for this, so it depends. Sometimes I use it. It's something that I'll kind of use pre-market. I'm normally up early. Like if I'm not up for London, I normally wake up early at like 5 or 5:30 a.m. and potentially look to see if we have broken one side or the other side. But sometimes it plays out like really quickly. Like I'll show you, I looked at it today and I know it played out today. So if you look at NAS, and this is the 5-minute chart. And so this is our 3 a.m. candle. So the open of this candle is the London Open, and then so the 3 to 305. This is our 305 to 310, 310 to 315. So this is our 15-minute orb high, and this is our 15-minute orb low. So you can see this very next candle right here. We broke below that orb low. And then so what we aim for is a double break, right? So I wait for it to break one side, either the low or the high. In this instance, we broke the low first. And this is what I was saying, where sometimes this happens really quickly, where we'll break that low, and you could essentially try your first long stab on the break of that low, which we then, end up wicking up, and we kind of reject the orb high. We might have tagged above it here, but eventually end up then breaking the orb high. And the theory for this trade is once we break, the lower the high, we break one side, we're aiming for the double break as kind of like our first target, right? So sometimes this 15-minute orb range is wider. Sometimes it's not, like, because right here really just offered us a scalp, because if this was our entry and this was the orb high, and you could have, potentially just scalped to here, from here to here, which isn't like a massive trade. I'm sure it's a good trade. But the theory is that then once we get that like double break, most of the time we'll continue to trend in that direction until New York. And so then I will try to hold the trade from the London double break to the New York Open. So like today would have been great if you bought this orb 15-minute low break, and then you held it into New York Open. New York opened 9:30 right here. So New York opened at this candle right here. So your entry would have been here, and your exit would have been here, which is that would have been that's a 100 and 150 200 point move on NAS, and you could still be holding this trade, right? So like the risk to reward potentially. Say you bought that orb low with a stop under under this consolidation. That's like that's probably a 10-to-1 risk to reward right now if you're still holding on this trend. So that's the trend that I look for. I wasn't actively trading today, and some people, I know a lot of people like VWAP too. I heard somebody call it VWAP, which I liked, but VWAP. This, if you line it up with that too, is we had this spike low is a spike into VWAP, but then got bought out, bought back up. So there are a few things lining up on this trade. Like I said, I've avoided the indexes today because of the futures contracts rolling. But yeah, so that's the London orb double break. That's, an example of it from today, and that's how I try to play it out. The 5 a.m. strategy, Salvador said that Cameron shared with us. Yeah, that's awesome. That's actually it's awesome to hear that you passed five combines with that. That's dope. I know Cam kills it with that. I haven't used it. It's something I'm going to start watching more, because also like the London strategy is 3 a.m., which I'm not always awake for, and you can see sometimes it happens really quickly. So like I woke up early today, and the first thing I did was check the London orb, and I was like, I missed it. Like I was like kind of like bummed. But so that 5 a.m. strategy that Cam talked about is definitely something that I may start keeping an eye on a little bit more here.
I haven't seen Cam.
US 30. So I took this I took a long on YM, which is US 30 on this. My entry is right around here at 44.28. So that's working out on my futures account. This is kind of my target number one. My gold trade is still in a little bit of drawdown. Spiked a new low. I like that we spiked a new low there and got bought back up. We'll see if that can hold as our new low.
Mm-hmm.
But we'll see. We'll see. Like I said, I'm not a big gold trader. I obviously have watched it a lot more because I know Brian and Kyron and a lot of it, and Sam all trade it. So I've been watching it since we started doing the stream. When I'm not streaming, it's not even something I look at. And then so as I started watching it, we had those 9 days of consolidation, and I was like, oh man, I'm glad not to be stuck in that chop. Those 9 days on gold were tough.
Yeah.
I also feel like people talk about this. You get to know a pair or an instrument. I definitely feel like to where you almost get like a sixth sense, or you kind of anticipate moves a little bit just based off of like watching it so often, seeing it. And I feel like I have that with NAS, but like I've probably taken less than 10 gold trades in my 3 years of trading. Right now it's below VWAP, which you can see we had a nice hold of VWAP earlier, but we're kind of rejecting it now. So my expectations are definitely low on this gold trade. We'll see if it can rally, but I'm happy I took the YM long, because the indexes would be giving me FOMO had I not. Brian is going to go over here in about 20 minutes. He's going to go over how he finds and marks up his key levels on gold, and give you guys kind of a breakdown on that. So looking forward to that. Nice push on US 30 there. I prefer XAUE. Yeah, Wizard uses an EMA cross strategy. Can use the code? Yeah, code risk life will get you off 15%. I shared a link earlier too in the chat. But yeah, code risk life will get you 15% off any Funder Pro challenge account.
Tyler, check out Ludo's message there on our group chat.
Oh yeah, sorry, I haven't looked at WhatsApp. Gotcha.
I asked a question over there, and I just now put 2 and 2 together.
Yeah, I hadn't seen that.
You're on your 5-minute chart, correct? Yeah, you're 5-minute on NAS. Just look at that, man. I've been applying NAS to my supply and demand strategy lately, just to learn. You know, you mentioned you haven't traded gold that much. I haven't traded NAS too much. I used to be a huge Euro USD trader. Gold, not so long, you know. Matter of fact, I've had to go back and analyze gold just a little bit for the last couple months, just because it would be like the first November, the first December that I was trading it. I wanted to see, well, what did it do last year? Every year is different, but
oh man, Bitcoin, nice for it.
But I notice not many of us seem to trade the popular euro pairs.
Yeah, there's a stop on gold. 0 for 2 on gold today.
Yeah. I can't read the pullback on it right now. Otherwise, I would short it. I'll be upset if this thing goes all day downwards and I never got in on it. But it did a pullback a few minutes ago. But anytime gold hits near a weekly key level, it can do some powerful stuff, and that can go against you too.
Love to see US 30 come trade up to this 44,200 area. Well, Brian, since I'm out of that trade, I'm definitely not going to hop in anything any time soon. If you want to start breaking down your levels now, I think that would be cool.
Yeah, we can do that. Let's see. Maybe move to a chart that doesn't have any.
Yeah.
Oh, it started at a good place, right on the weekly. Cool. I'm just moving some of my screens around so I can monitor gold a little bit while I do this, in case I want to jump over and make a trade. I wish I had stacked monitors. Do you have that? My monitors.
No, I have one
screen.
big widescreen.
Yeah.
I'm looking to adjust my setup though for like streaming purposes. Just because yeah, you get like a lot. There's like a lot going on, monitoring the chat and all that stuff. So I'd like to get a second one set up so I have like a dual monitor situation going on. But right now I have just like the one big widescreen.
Yeah. I have dual widescreen curved, so I have 6 feet, 6.5 feet from left to right, and it's so sometimes to look at one edge of my monitor, I know my
Yeah,
camera.
it's like super far. Yeah,
It's
I know what you mean.
sideways. It's sideways both ways. Probably doesn't look so great on camera, but
Oh,
I,
you're fine.
I'll have to turn my head around sometimes to do that. Anyhow, so on the breakdown of these key levels, just to I'll sum a lot of it up is what a lot of us do anyhow is starting with a top-down analysis and going into your weekly and daily charts, aligning those up with 4 hours and 1 hours and lower time frames. But I think what people asked before was how those things are drawn by myself, but it's so subjective that there's many ways to draw these things. But what I would do is start out, and again, this is just a very, very high level overview. This would take about 8 hours to get real serious about it, but you know, starting out with something high up like the weekly, I don't go any higher than that. And this is the way I was trained. This isn't anything I've invented. It's pretty textbook. Uh, Again, reach out to Ishmael Davids on Discord. He would be glad to show you a lot about this stuff. But he's who I learned from. And these key levels, you start out on the weekly, and you're usually looking for activity that occurred close into the wicks. You're looking for wicks that will overlap where you're going to put your key level, touch your key level, and maybe gap short of your key level in one direction or the other. Now, when you're doing weekly, you're going to come right in on the top and form. I never mark a key level as my all-time high. I always come in. This one, for example, would be right about there, so I can catch a few candles. And I actually even have the wrong one. I'm going to get hate mail because I'm doing this so sloppy. So I would set that up. I would give it a quick little label, so that you know, because later when you're zooming in and you're trading on the 1 minute, the 5 or the 15, you want to know which key level you're actually near. So you need to note it somehow. And I'll do something like weekly key level. This now right here, this is where it becomes controversial and very subjective. Some people want to put a key level right in here where all the activity is happening, shooting right through all the bodies of the candles. But what will happen is when you zoom in and you're trying to execute a trade close up during intraday trading, that's not going to show you anything but a mess typically, because what you're shooting for is when price is going to reverse or have a strong move in the same direction, not just wiggle. The way I was trained on this is you're going to bring down your key level, and you're going to start pulling in those wicks. So one, I got an overlap, a touch, an overlap, a big overlap. I'm inside these 3 wicks right here. I know that's small on the screen for people to see. And then one could say, well, let's come down further. Well, that gets into the body of that area, and that's going to be a mess, because what you're going to do is later you're going to draw key levels noted more on the lower time frames. So you just come in here right about like that, and then you won't disregard this area because it's just the reverse of everything. And again, I'm not going to be so worried about the body of this body. I'm actually looking at these lower wick ends right there. And so label this. Label this one. And since price is up in this area, I'm not going to go lower right now. and mark other weekly key levels. Then you're going to switch it over to your daily. No, sorry. There we go. My bad. Switch it to daily. And now this is another area where a lot of people ask questions on Discord to me. You know, it gets just like the weekly, you know, where are you placing it? How do you really know? And if some people, if they do it by textbook, they end up with way too many lines of key levels. But you have to remember to stretch this thing out usually every time you change time frames so that you can more clearly spot your levels. So right here, so now we're going to go to anything inside. This would be a beautiful daily level right there. This could be one too. And I say that because I can pick up this overlap, a touch, these touches and gaps, and this big overlap, and then these touches. So I got a lot of activity happening right there. And so, and Tyler, do you agree or disagree? Drawing key levels is a lot like drawing support and resistance lines. It's basically what you're doing. The only difference is when you do a supply and demand key levels, you're going to turn these into zones in a little while. And that's the primary difference in theory, comparing support and resistance to supply and demand. It's really lines versus zones. So this was another daily. And I brought that topic up there, Tyler, in case you wanted to add something in and something you do differently. I don't know if you draw any of this stuff. I know Kyron draws more.
Yeah, I do mine a little bit differently. I look at specifically just the New York session, and I take my over there, and I use a very specific price as opposed to a zone. I do like I'll pick has to do with it's I don't need to get into it now, but yeah, I mean it's similar. It's definitely still similar. We definitely have them in the similar areas. I just make mine really specific.
Yeah, but that's a very good point. I'm glad you brought it up. I hear that from people all the time too. I'm glad you mentioned it. It reminded me to say something about it. So a lot of people will only draw zones out based on the session they trade. So it really just gets down to your belief, right? Or your trading personality. This is the way I was trained, so I just kind of keep doing it this way. But I completely believe in the method you just said too, concentrating more on a per session basis.
Yeah.
So I switch it to a 4 level now, and again, so 4 level. Again, the daily and the weeklies are going to still be standing out, but when you really start getting in there, top down, I would. Now, when I start seeing this all-time high start to break up like that in multiple candles, definitely I'm going to draw that out in a 4-hour at this point. And I'm going to speed this up now and get down to where we're actually at in the market. So we're over in here, up 4-hour, going backwards from more recent would be it would be right through here. And again, grabbing as many. Again, this is a shorter version of of education. But again, I'm looking at not the bodies as much as I am trying to look at all these wicks that are passing through. Way over here on the left, that's much less important. But matter of fact, I could have just as well. Well, I could have brought it in over here. Now, anything smaller than this, if I was to start bringing this into, this is a 4 level too, is one here. I want to hurry up and get to. Now, this is where we become argumental. People could put a level here, or they'd say, I'm going to put a level right there. Because of all these wicks passing through, this is actually where a stronger resistance was occurring for this strategy. So I would actually mark that one, and I would deal with these when I zoom in now to the 1 hour. So everything's basically working on quarters, right? Or close to it. So daily, then reduced down to 4 hours, then 1 hour, then after that, maybe 15-minute. But moving into the 1 hour, I'm going to be would have been probably like that. And now I'm there. So, I'm also the type that doesn't erase any of these things because I believe in their history and going back and watching price revisit things. But to speed this up again, at this point, if I was now actively trading and say I was looking at stuff on a 15-minute, there we go. Then I would be zoning these in. Size of the zone doesn't matter. Now, once I'm inside of here, and I know anybody watching this or listening would say, that's a bunch of BS. You drew that because you saw the prices right there a second ago. And that's true. But what's amazing is like this is a 4-hour key level. And if you were to go backwards now and start zooming in at a 15-minute level, you're going to start seeing what I'm concentrating on. If this was where we were in the present time was over here, I would have been concentrating on candle setups. So looking at strong bullish or bearish candles, weak bullish or bearish candles, and neutral bullish and bearish candles. So strong, weak, and neutral of bullish and bearish. When you educate yourself on that, so things like a strong bearish candle is when the candle closes within the bottom half of the low of the wick from the open. There's these definitions, but anything on the internet will educate you on what strong and weak and neutral are for those candles. But the more important thing is when you're looking at price action close to key levels and supply and demand zones, this strategy is concentrating on conservative versus aggressive movements. So once if you're looking at strong, weak, or neutral candles, you have to ask yourself, based on definition again, are you looking at conservative or aggressive setups? So for example, an engulfing candle would be considered a conservative entry, right? And whereas something like a liquidity spike would be an aggressive one that you're going to go after. And then depending on the probability, high and low, is going to start determining your risk. If it's a high probability, maybe you're going to take a 2% risk. If it's a medium probability, you're going to take something like a 0.5% risk. And if it's a low probability, you take a no risk. You take no trade. So you don't even analyze that. But again, you draw out these key levels starting at the higher time frames. working your way in per time frame. Zone them out, and you're putting a zone so you can look for that price action for bullish, for bearish, strong, weak. And the most popular typically being your engulfing candles and your 3 candle variations. So I think like, and then I think a popular method a lot of supply and demand folks do is the retest. So if you look at this, every time this thing has come back to my zone, tested it, then gone, tested it, decided not to go, went back up to the 4 level, tested it, and went to the next level. And then anything smaller than 4 hour, 1 hour, or 15-minute levels, I would be using those as take profits, or at least some sort of warning track that I may see price turn at that moment. So that's about it. That to me, that is what was that, 10 minutes, 15 of probably pure boredom.
No, it's good.
But there's a lot of self-education one has to do with this stuff, once you have a grasp of, and you see it all the time, it's not hard to go spot a candle stack in one direction or an engulfing candle like this one coming off this green one, knowing you could take that trade right there and short it down to that 1 hour and just profit out right there. Most of these setups I find that I do and other people do for supply and demand are a 1 to 2 risk to reward, or a 1 to 3, I think, on average. I trade on this half the time, and but I really love scalping inside of here. When price gets to these zones, you'll hear me say, "Oh, it's working as a magnet again."
Yeah.
I see so much price action. Just the last thing I'd say is, for anyone who scalps, this can be entertaining, because you can go in there now into where this zone was. Now I'm on the 1 minute. Pull this thing up, and you can see tons of opportunity, knowing this thing's testing a 4-hour key level. That's a strong key level. I'm not going to go against it that it's going to go long. So Tyler, that's why this morning, every time you were going long, I was going short, by the way.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And over here, I can show you a trade log from a little earlier, but like this was a perfect long in London right here. I mean, on a 1 minute, look at that. Bounced, did the retest, shot up.
Yeah.
That is
nice setup.
easiest profit graph you could get. And anybody who's struggling with the challenge, I would highly recommend Googling some on this stuff, because you can pass a challenge rather safely with this sort of method. It will truly help you not trade against the trend in a lot of ways. Reach out to Ishmael Davids on Discord. He loves to mentor people. He's teaching folks all the time. And again, he learned this stuff from Lambo Raoul, Mr. 25 mil. So there's some confidence in that strategy. Does that make sense, Tyler?
Yeah, I think that's good. I think that's a good breakdown. I just want to answer this question. Vic has said, was the maximum holding time for fast track funded account trade? I mean, can it hold for the next day? So yes, Vic, you can hold during the week, Monday through Friday. You can hold overnight. You just can't hold through any restricted news. So make sure you're aware of when the news is. Like this week, we have a lot. Some weeks we don't have a lot. But yes, you can hold overnight. You just can't hold over the weekends, or you can't hold through the news on the fast track. Gold seeing a solid bounce now. NAS still pushing new highs. US 30 saw a pullback back to its opening print. Seeing a little bit of a bounce at the opening print right now. Looks like it was just early on the gold bounce. She's picking up a bit here. We'll see. Testing the level from underneath now.
Yeah, it's going to make a decision sometime soon, I hope.
Index is starting to move in unison a bit. The Russell coming towards its high on the day. ES just made a new high on the day. NAS just made a new high on the day. US 30 is the only one kind of lagging behind, currently not making a new high on the day.
Tyler, have you ever traded other cryptos besides Bitcoin? I don't recall.
No, I have I bought like Sheeb. This was years ago. I bought like Sheeb, just like bought it in Coinbase and held. It had nothing to do with like technicals or anything like that. And then I took an XRP trade like the day after they announced an XRP ETF.
Oh, that's right.
Just kind of playing like a momentum trade there, but that's pretty much it. I don't like this. I don't like how they have the spreads. I feel like that takes away a lot of the edge.
Yeah. Yeah. I was just wondering because, and if there's any viewers that have an opinion on what they think will happen with crypto's popularity of trading with the new US presidential administration coming into office, who very much supports crypto, especially Bitcoin. We have a Bitcoin president coming into play. So I've been curious if that's going to shake it up for the better, or
Yeah,
just make it more popular, maybe make it more known.
yeah. I mean, you would think. I can tell
And Musk,
you.
right? Elon's
Listen. The problem
Bitcoin
is,
person.
for instance, right? I told my dad this was, I think Bitcoin. I forget the date, but I think Bitcoin had pulled back to around 40,000, maybe even like 36,000. And we had been talking about it, and I was like, Dad, load the boat. Like this is like a great place to get in. And he's like, Yeah, you think I should? And I was like, Yeah, do it. And he didn't. And then I think it was like a few days later, it was back at 60K. And I was like, you'd be almost up 100% already, Dad. Like, and now that it hit 100K, he like said to me the other day, he's like, I think I'm gonna get some Bitcoin. I'm like, yeah, okay, yeah, you should have when I told you at 38,000. Now, when all the old people coming in at 100K now want to start buying Bitcoin. I don't know. Is that the top is in, or is it just gonna keep going? We'll see.
Gosh.
Oh man, I'm like, you'd be tripled your money by now, Dad, and you want to go in. You should have listened to me.
I was so off the grid of day trading a handful of years ago that prior to COVID,
Yeah,
I had, I was more focused on my previous career, and my dad called me up on the phone one day and said, "Have you heard of this thing, Bitcoin and cryptocurrency?" And I said, "I don't know what the heck you're talking about."
You weren't even paying attention to it.
I wasn't, man. I was just like,
That's funny.
My career there was making some changes and doing some all-time highs of itself a little bit, and and it was like,
Yeah.
I
I
just
remember.
wasn't distracted.
You did the AMA. I remember you talking about that. Yeah.
Yeah, I wasn't distracted to day trading at all. But he definitely brought some interest to my mind. I started researching different cryptos. What is it?
Ethereum.
Ethereum, Ripple. XRP is Ripple, right?
Yes. Yeah, it is. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, some of those, just a handful of them. And then the craze. I know at my job, a lot of my colleagues would jump on the bandwagon of any new crypto that came out, like thinking this is at 20 cents. What harm does
Yeah,
it do to
yeah.
put $100 in it and
It's gonna go
see?
a fraction of a cent
Yeah,
to a dollar. Yeah.
yeah. I did the same. I invested in when I log into my Coinbase is the wallet I would use. But when I log into it and I look at my history, I see all these crazy crypto trades, and some of them have done really well. They're not. I'm not in the trade. You know, like I went in at like a tenth of a dollar or something, and then I get out like a month later because I lost $50. And had I long traded it for 5 years, it'd be 10 grand now or something.
Yeah. Yeah, I basically put when all the crypto stuff was like starting to pop off, I basically put like $600 into SHIB at like the top. And then I basically held it for a year as it
Oh,
I don't know, it probably went from being worth $600 to being worth like $250 or something. Like I kind of just forgot about it. And then I don't know, maybe 6 months to a year ago, it got back to like break even. I think I'm maybe even up a little. I was up like $50, and I was like,
mhm.
"Yeah, I'm gonna take this $600 and put it towards something else." And I just sold it. I was like, "All right, I got out at a basically break even."
Well, that's good. Break even's always a good word.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. So I don't have any. I don't have any too crazy. I don't have any crazy stories with crypto, but
Um, Walter in the trade mentioned, uh,
Solana.
yeah, SOL, correct? It's SOL is the crypto code for that, I believe.
Yeah. So yeah, that's it. Yeah.
Is that it? Okay.
Yeah.
Um, so I thought, well, I don't mind at least. That's interesting enough. Like, what does it have going on?
Yeah. Why not?
What
It's
is,
I would say it's one of the big ones for sure.
Walter? What do you know anything about it that I mean that you favor? Or why you favor it? Or Tyler, do you know much
So
about it?
from
Why you would favor it?
what I understand from I by no means am a crypto expert. I'll slightly pay attention to it, and I have some friends that pay attention to it. From what I understand, Solana has like a faster on-chain network. So essentially, like day-to-day transactions can be done like a lot quicker than it would be done with Bitcoin. So I think like the bullish case for Solana long term. I think ETH maybe is this way a little bit too, but the bullish case for Solana long term is its speed in terms of like everyday usage for like purchasing of everyday ordinary things. At least this is what I heard.
Mhm.
But outside of that, I don't know. So like I know it's popular amongst cryptos. It's you have I would call maybe the big three or four would be Bitcoin, Ethereum, XRP, and Solana. Would probably be the big four that I'm familiar with.
Right. I'm not familiar with the pips of this asset, so I'm not quite familiar with how to. You know how when you're familiar with, like you said earlier, familiar with a particular instrument, very familiar with it, you also know what's considered an exaggeration on candle size and what's considered a small candle for that particular instrument.
Mm-hmm.
I wouldn't know because I haven't traded this asset at is a 223 to a 222. Is that considered a small candle or a large candle,
Mm-hmm.
I know I can say this is a small candle compared to this big green one here, but in the day-to-day intraday trading sense of this instrument, you have to kind of know um, what sizes would result in what kind of percent gains and losses.
Yeah.
But either way, doesn't affect where I put zones and those things. This is pretty interesting. Like, somebody go all in right now and show me what happens, because
Go all in so you can learn some price movement on.
yeah. One of the golden rules to supply and demand trading off of key levels is to not take trades between zones. Had I not drawn this 1 hour level I think that was the last one I drew. And I just simply drew it so I could hone in on where price action currently was at. We would be actually between these two zones. I should have drawn this one too earlier, unless that's a new one. But matter of fact, I'm going to erase that. I didn't draw it.
This is an interesting thing from Bonafide. A lot of meme coins are on the Solana blockchain because transactions are so cheap. So yeah, I think that lines up. That's what I heard: cheap and fast. So that makes sense.
Okay. That's interesting. So, what would one do here? It visited. These were all 4 hour. This was the only 1 hour I drew, I believe. I think should have labeled. And again, I should have labeled them, but I believe I drew mostly all 4 hours. This was a 1 hour. So, if this was 4, then we've come off 4, a stronger move, and we're visiting a 1 hour. And there you go. I said this earlier. That was be an example of that pullback. That might have been my last take profit right there and get out, because it revisited a weaker key level.
Yeah.
But to answer Walter's request, on a down and dirty quick way, this is how I would have done it. Not much analysis has gone into this at the moment, but now I'd be looking for price action right here. And something to add to a lot of that, even though indicators lag, but I think they make really good confluences to price action. Once I draw in these levels, that's when I start having more confidence in something like the MACD or moving averages crossing.
Mm-hmm.
They seem to hold up more value as lagging indicators, as opposed to arbitrarily just following what those technical indicators say.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. I mean, people love that. I think talk smack on indicators. I think whatever works for you, honestly. If indicators help you in your trading, more power to you.
Yeah, you could. People do this. You could literally add a MACD to this. Take the default settings, and if I ever do this, I come in here and I take off the signal. The signal is the histogram colors. You don't need that line. And I change this to columns for the MACD.
Mm-hmm. Okay.
I will make this more transparent so I can see the histogram through it.
Okay.
Like that. And then always noting in this color coding, actually I'll just make this better looking. There we go. In this type of drawing, the blue would be the trend and the greens and reds are the momentum. That's how the MACD is made up. And if you align this now to this particular crypto that Walter asked about, here it is coming right through my 4 hour, right? And look down here. Look what it's doing. It's starting a trend. And this is how these supply and demand levels will go. I mean, I haven't pre-researched this. This just proves how accurate something like a MACD lagging indicator can be. As the trend was ending, and then what am I on the 15-minute? Yeah, momentum pulled back. The momentum of the MACD shows it come back up to the 1 hour as the trend is maybe finishing or taking a rest. Same thing over here. When this candle took this big jump right through the 4-hour key level, the MACD said, yeah, I'm starting a new trend now. So once you have your key levels, and if we were back in time, and this is where we were right here, that's all we would see in that moment. You know, we would see this green candle come up, touch that 4-hour. The next candle would have broke through it, as you were watching the MACD grow. You could literally go on that first blue candle of the MACD new trend, and you could have scalped that real quick and easy. Just go in a few candles, do a tight stop loss, you profit tons. You do the same thing every time, you're guaranteed pretty much a 60-40 win-loss rate.
Andrew asked, if you don't have enough time to trade, what would you suggest, swing trading or 1 to 2 trades per day? Andrew, I think that you got to kind of figure out what suits your personality best. I personally would probably suggest swing trading. Looking for, higher time frame setups and just, taking that trade and maybe work for days or weeks at a time. And then, potentially just you check the charts every day, once a day. Maybe you adjust your stop loss, maybe you don't, and just kind of letting those trades work. I think personally, to me, makes a little bit more sense if you're you actively work a 9 to 5, or you're working overtime, you don't have a lot of time to trade. I think swing trading makes more sense than actively looking to take 1 or 2 scalps a day, personally. But swing trading, requires more patience and that sort of thing. So, like, are you someone who's patient? Can you wait for those setups that take, maybe potentially days to set up, right? You may go look at the chart for 3, 4, 5, 6 days, and your setup doesn't occur. If you're waiting for a quality swing trade setup to happen. So, swing trading definitely takes more patience. But I think it's probably the way I would prefer if I didn't have time to actively trade at the charts.
That's a very fair response. A swing account. Man. I'm just playing around. I'm just looking at how these levels work on this currency for crypto.
You're become a Solana trader.
Can you get rich trading that?
Hey, baby, you can get rich trading anything.
That's true.
My YM or US 30 long, I'm still in. It almost stopped me out. It's been it's kind of caught in this range here, back at the high of the range.
I think this is what people get in trouble with when they rely on technical indicators too much. You know, this is like YouTube influencer claiming to be a great day trader, saying, "See right here, the crossover happened. Could have gone
Yeah,
short."
there you go. There you go.
And it fails
Yeah,
because, but because one would go, well, what about this one? What about this one? What about this one? You know, and that's when you know, you got to match it up to another indicator. You know, like for example, the red one is it's a slower time frame. So if it's on the bottom and yet the MACD is showing, it's MACD saying I'm trending now, but the moving averages are saying we're not, because to trend down, the green has to be below the red on this one. And but then right over here, it does play out. MACD saying I'm trending down again. Now the moving averages agree with it. Over here, the MACD started trending, which was true, but the moving average did it late. So, you know, what are you going to believe? Personally, if you have the patience, you just wait till they both agree at the same time and take it.
Yeah.
That's beginner trader 101. That's why I don't think when people ask, how many years have you been trading? I've met people who've only been trading a year or 6 months, and they're awesome traders. You know, I really believe in the traders that haven't spent a lot of time on the charts either, or I mean, years doing them, because you know,
Yeah, I
you
don't
can
think
get some.
technical analysis takes that long to learn personally.
It doesn't. No. And you can build up bad habits too by being a trader for so long. You know, you could
Yeah.
doubt yourself, or um, I think younger guys too. You know, take it like an 18-year-old coming out of high school. They look at something like this and have less over analysis. They don't do analysis paralysis necessarily.
Mm-hmm.
You know, hello, MD. But that starts to clutter the charts. I don't like this too much.
You watching anything on gold right now?
Yes. So I'm watching it for a breakdown off this key level. I drew it off the 1 hour, so if I were to take it, I wouldn't go into the trade very heavy. I'd go more medium on my lot size. But momentum has really died down volume-wise. How are we? Volume is still decent. What would you be looking for right now for your to go into gold for yourself?
Yeah, we rejected off of we're like rejecting off of the lower level I had. So I think shorts are definitely valid from around this area. And I mean we're definitely downtrending on the smaller time frames. I think you could take a short with the stop above the that last 5-minute swing high right now, targeting new lows. I'm not going to. I think I'm probably done taking new trades for today.
I'm getting set to enter.
You're looking to enter.
Well, if this bearish move would hold, it's almost like I better go in it now and just do a tight stop loss, or don't go in at all, because once the move happens, I would consider it too late.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree. You kind of want to anticipate.
But here's, yeah, knowing gold, it has a likelihood right now to come down. It's going to fake you out to go short. It's going to pull back, go back up to what would be like the 100 moving average or something like that. It's going to go back and touch it. I draw it right now. It'll touch it maybe, then come down right where it's at this moment. That's when I would short it. The problem with that idea for me is that by that time, is it going to be in the next 5 to 10 minutes, or is that move going to be in an hour when New York is breaking for lunch and London's closed?
Yeah.
I also monitor my hours because, at this point, I woke up.
Yeah, you've been trading since London.
Yeah. Yeah, I woke up at, I guess, 8.5 hours ago. So, around noon my time, which is in about 2 hours, I would need to go to bed for about 3 to 4 hours and get the rest of my sleep. I divide it in half like that. I do half my sleep
Midday snooze.
late. Yeah, I do half of it around my 10 p.m. and I do the other half around my noon.
Yeah.
So
there you go. I like it. That's efficient. GH said, "What are the best 3 accurate tools to use on TradingView?" To be honest, I'm not sure. GH, I don't use TradingView or indicators, so I can't really answer that question for you.
I would say combine something like I was doing a moment ago. Indicators that have been proven and tested for decades. The MACD, moving averages, and then I always prefer the CCI, which is a commodity channel index, as opposed to an RSI. They look very similar, but they function mathematically completely different. And the CCI definitely supports a MACD or a moving average concept. Like wholehearted. I can show it right now, Tyler, if you're patient with me.
Yeah, go ahead.
I mean, to answer that question.
Oh no, I actually did the wrong thing.
Oh no. This is did I delete the MACD already? Yeah, okay, this is so easy to draw up real quick. And I said the CCI, right? Okay. So again, get rid of this, convert him so you can actually spot the trend. I hate that color. Aren't we all picky with colors?
Mm-hmm. We all see colors differently, scientifically proven.
Yeah, that's true. Okay, so he's set up, and then this is the CCI. Now, again, convert it to columns, and you can match this thing up to answer that question. What is I don't like on Trade Locker, they don't show a standard deviation. Because you have to at least put the smoothing. See, the MACD uses a 12.26.9. That didn't take effect very well.
New highs on NASDAQ. She's still trucking, baby.
I don't like Trade Locker's CCI. It's almost not a CCI. A true commodity channel index should have a standard deviation and allow you to choose your length with a where you can choose it based on a close or based on the high, low, close, open combo average. So I actually will remove that, but I want to answer that question. I'm experiencing a little bit of lag over here.
It's all good. If you can't get it to work, we can.
Oh no, it's working. Yeah. I would make this blue because the whole concept is to match it to a MACD. And again, I'm just answering this person's question on this. Okay. So when you take the default settings of the MACD and you compare it to a 100 moving average, so I know this isn't, he asked for 3 indicators, I believe this is 2, but when the blue trend starts to come up, maybe I'll darken this. So it's going to align with the 100 moving average very well. A lot of times, I'm on the 1 minute too, so it's a really cool scalping tool. As soon as this blue came up into the green, saying, you know, hey, we're trending up, you're going to experience on a true trend up where you could conservatively trade. You're going to see a candle come up through that 100. If it's trending down, you're going to see price start to want to come down through that 100. The 100 moving average. Now, everyone could take a different spill on this and say the 50 is doing something similar to that, and the 200, but 100 is kind of in the middle. And again, right here, you see, I'll line this up. When price broke out below that 100, the MACD said, yes, I'm downtrending. When these two things agree, you're looking at a very conservative trade for the most part. When price tries to go back up and touch it, if it touches the 100 like it did over here in this area, you don't have to be frightened if that trend stayed to the downside. So the trend stayed to the downside right here in the blue. So that could be a time where you said, with the histogram, I'm going to pad my trade. I'm going to add to my trade. Then as price trends down and follows this MACD with this moving average, now it's going to come back up, test the 100 moving average, and this time the MACD is going to say it's going to break through. It never did. So if you are blindly not using this moving average, just solely trusting the MACD, you would have taken that trade. It would have gone nowhere. But if you were waiting on a true breakout from that 100, you know, you wouldn't have taken that. That's why I believe in siding up moving averages to some of the technical indicators. You get more of a joint confluence that way. Right here, see, it tested, it never took. But right here, the MACD is saying, never mind, I'm going to go back down again. And so did this. So it agreed with it. So I hope that helps. That's where I believe in technical indicators.
Yeah, I think that's a solid explanation. Some indicators to use.
Yeah.
But I think that's gonna be it for today. We're gonna wrap up today's stream. Thank you guys for hanging out and tuning in, and we will be back on Wednesday. Remember, this probably these next few weeks will probably be tricky with Christmas and the New Year's coming up. So make sure you guys continue to trade safe, and we'll catch you guys all in the next one. Peace out.
Right.